Hello everyone, welcome back to the drawing board. I'm Nate Day, and today I'm going to show you how I visualize a sketch through an unusual method that I call micro sketch. What I'm going to do with my canvas here is zoom in very close. This creates a tiny little box area for me to work in, which means whenever I use my pen, it's going to look very, very small. Now, the reason for this is a lot of times I would have trouble working through the whole canvas, even by zooming out really far. It just didn't quite seem to work all that well. So what I started to do was to simply kind of blob it out using a couple of little dots and lines just to kind of figure out where I'm going to place everything. And you'll see, it's very tiny, almost indiscernible. But that is kind of the point here, is to work with a very small area in order to really figure out what it is I'm going to be doing. Now, the context for this particular image is this character in the morning, just waking up, bottomless. Now, don't worry, this is going to be a safe for work image. So that way I won't have YouTube jumping all over me for, flooding adult work on their site. And as you see, I had myself a tiny little, kind of a stick figure-ish looking thing here. Now this is nice and all, but it's not quite what I need just yet. So I'm going to kind of fill in a little bit more on it. Just kind of setting up everything. I'm going to have myself a little doorway over here. Maybe the edge of the wall. And this is just so, again, I can figure out what I'm doing. Now I'd say right here looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do from here is zoom out a bit and use a transform on my layer to make it a little bit bigger. And I'd say that looks good. Now that I have this set out, I'm going to start making it a little more clear to the eye. So what I'm going to do is create another layer on top of it, which will allow me a little bit darker lines, or in this case, considerably darker lines. I'm going to work through the head here, just kind of setting everything out. Now, this particular character just happens to be a nightmare, which is very horsey. And horses have always been one of those things that have challenged me in the past. So this will be a good chance to practice, which should definitely be our motto here. Practice, practice, practice. The more you draw, the easier it will be. So as I've shown in the past, just kind of blocking out little areas that I need. Setting down my neck, moving to the shoulder. Down our arm. And she's got a little bit more muscle on her. And of course, one of the things to always remember when working on a sketch is subtlety. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, but screw them. And as you see, it's still very small, which surprisingly enough makes it much easier to handle, much less of a hassle for working through it. And I don't want to show the entire figure, since I do plan on zooming this in a bit. Nice, nice thick thighs. We all like them thick, don't we? And she's a pretty gal, so we want to make sure we try to convey that as much as possible. As you'll see as we go along on this channel, I tend to babble as I work, but hopefully that will be charming and give a little bit of an appeal to it. And we'll see. Okay. Can't forget that belly button. Oh, yes. Kind of messed up on that little arm right there, but that's okay. That's what makes this great, is it's really, really easy to fix. Alright. Now on this bed, I'm going to kind of angle these lines inward towards her, show a little bit of weight behind it. Then I kind of pluck my doorway down here. Backgrounds have never really been my forte, so that'll be something I'll try to practice on as we go along. Most important aspect of everything we do here is not just instruction, but experimentation. All right. And I say that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and merge this down with the other layer. I'm going to do a little bit of erasing here, since I do plan to kind of use the existing materials in the final sketch, at least a little bit. And that should give it a little more of a natural look. Alrighty. That looks good. So we're going to zoom out again. And we're going to bring the size up a little bit more. And by doing this as stages as we go along, it makes it much easier and much faster to manage what we're working with. Okay. So now I'm going to start putting in some last detail. Now because the lines seem a little bit harder to work with, I'm going to again create another layer on top of this, but at the same time, I'm going to bring down the opacity on the existing layer. About 70% is good. And this way I can fiddle around with it without really interrupting what I've got so far. I'm going to place a loose, baggy shirt on her. There we go. I gotta love the clicky clack of that keyboard. Okay, now I can begin working on the face to finish it out. Now this character, since she is a nightmare, I want to do her hair kind of in flames. So we're not going to quite draw them in, but I'll show you something really cool to do with that. Pop her collar up. You know, shouldn't have been sleeping in that shirt, but who cares? Give her a little bit of cleavage. But remember, guys, those breasts will kind of hang off to the side a bit. There we go. And we're coming along nice and fast, which of course is the point. Nate, you babble way too much. What do you guys think? Show a little belly button, why not? It's a sketch, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We'll have just a button or two holding everything together. Alrighty. So here we go. And I really should look up, some more tutorials myself. Maybe some reference material for doing the clothing bearer. But I've always kind of been a little bit of a stubborn ass in that regard, where I want to try to figure it out on my own as much as I can. So maybe that's something else to do later. So many maybes, so many things we can do. All right. Okay, we're going to kind of plop it down a little bit. Let's get that panty line in. Looking good so far. Yeah. Okay. We are getting close to finished with his. And once we have done that, we can actually move into finishing out the sketch itself. Got our little pillow. Again, we do our little door here. Oop. Gotta be careful with those lines. Don't want to overpower it too much. Let's see, is there anything else I can do over here? There's a lot of empty space. I don't really like that, but maybe a second door? Yeah, I think we'll do that, and then we'll We zoom in. It'll kind of change that. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and merge those two layers again. And now we're just going to go ahead and fill the image out. Because I want this nice and close up. Maybe not quite that far. Yeah, see, that empty space isn't even there anymore. Okay. Now, just to kind of save my computer a little bit of heartache, I'm going to select it all and cut out what I want to keep. Paste it down and then delete the previous layer. There we go. Now we can finish this out. So again, I'm going to bring the opacity down, this time at about 50%. Create my next layer, and let's start finishing. This is where our detail is going to come in. And as you can see by doing this, it's certainly made figuring out the rest of it so much easier. Not so much guesswork, it looks cleaner. And by the end, hopefully it will look fairly sketch-like. Fairly close to a pencil. But we shall see. Ah, yes, we shall see. And I find myself on every single image, always second guessing myself on everything. But how else do we learn if we don't constantly feel that we can improve? Never get comfortable with your work. Okay, I'm going to angle this down a bit here. And she's looking at a whole lot of nothing off screen. Couple of little bags under the eyes. Make it look like she really just woke up. Maybe had a hard night before, been out drinking. Who knows? Get our horsey nose in here. Easier said than done. Kind of want to have that lip lifted just a little bit. Not too much, but just enough. Now, here's a little pro tip for everybody. I'm noticing the head is looking a little wonky, so I'm wondering what the issue is with that. So something to help you kind of make sure that your proportioning is correct is flip the image horizontally, and you'll see, oh, it is lining up badly. But that's okay. The eraser is your friend. So I'll go ahead and pop in on this side. And do a little bit over there. And do my best to match it up on the other side. We'll reverse it. And as you can see, it looks a little bit better. But let's shave it. Just a smidge. And then again, we'll flip it. And see, not quite. So we'll go back to where we were. Okay. I'm going to move that nostril, mouth, snout over and twist it just a little bit. Okay. Now while I have that selected, I'll go ahead and flip again. Ah, there we go. And make sure everything's lining up the way it should. Do a little bit of a grimace on that side. That serious, groggy kind of look. And we'll flip it again. And we'll see that it's almost there. But we'll want to bring this out just a little bit more. Make sure that bottom lines up. And there we go. And it looks good. So let's finish up the head. Making it a little bit narrower towards the top. Get our nice horsey ears in here as best as I can. And finish up on the other side. Ah, yes. There we go. And of course, she's going to look a little funky at the moment, you know, with having no hair. But again, we have something planned for that. Now I'm noticing I want the palm of her hand to touch her head. So I'm going to erase a little bit here and move this hand over. Just use our selection tool. There we go. I want to turn it just a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. And then all we need to do is match it up here, and we'll be good to go. Put in our cuff, which I'm going to have poofing out. Let's see here, with our elbow actually ending a little bit higher. There we go. And let's put a button in. And voila. And let's kind of wiggle that a little bit. Kind of have it wavy. Show that the fabric's kind of wrinkled from tossing and turning. And then we start with our horsey cleavage. She's a little more perky there than others. Okay. Never know what this is called, but that little dip between the collarbones, I always like that. Alrighty. A little bit of trouble there. Too bad. Let's pull the fabric in more. And there we go. And we'll add a little bit of a nipple bulge right there. Just a little bit. Yeah. There's no nudity here. YouTube should be fine with that. And let's make sure we're going to have a little bit of a belly button pokage here, just a little bit. I'm beginning to think this is not her shirt she's wearing. Oh, what a naughty horsey. getting into other people's wardrobes. Shame on her. And of course, since I don't want to tab over but can't remember what side the buttons are going to be on, we're just going to wing it. Ooh. Gotta slow down. Don't want to go too fast or I'll wind up messing up. Okie dokie. Just adding some more fabric wrinkles. Blah, blah. Not perfect, but we are getting there. A little bit more there. Looks a little off, so we're going to step it back. Not so much wrinkle. We'll come back to that. Yeah, see, that's a little bit better. I'm going to take out a little bit more from here. Just kind of confuses the image a little bit if you have too much. Again, subtlety. That looks fine for the moment. And we'll come back and we'll refine it a little bit later. So let's finish up here. And huzzah. Just a couple of little wrinkles there. And we'll leave it at that. Now we finish up on this side. Make sure we round that down. Looking good. Coming down to these legs. Oh, yeah. Everybody loves a good pair of legs. Unless you're a sicko. But I know you guys aren't. You're cool. You guys are like me. You have that deep appreciation for nice set of legs. it up a little more. There we go. Looking good. Oop. Mhm. Now, while she may be bottomless, there's nothing there to see. Ah, yes, tasteful. And of course, I'm hoping everybody in my comments will let me know. You know, I've gone over YouTube's guidelines, but they could be a little ambiguous at times. So, let's see. Hopefully this video will stay up a good long time. Horsey Thunder Thighs. Oh, yes. Get our bed here. And again, pull that in just a little bit. And we'll add a couple of, you know, indentation lines. Okay. As you can see, we're coming along nicely. Should be done here momentarily. Now I'm sure everybody can notice I work in blue for my sketches. And if you're not ever redoing that, I recommend it only for the sake that it's easier on your eyes. I've tried browns and greens. Oh, geez, never do greens. Oh. Your retinas will thank you. And of course, if you're wanting to go more old school, you can use gray, which I do use on occasion. But there's something really pretty about those blues. But whatever you do, don't use red. Okay. Might not have come down a little far enough with the hand, but we'll keep that in mind next time. That's what we're all about here. Learning experiences. Learning how to, well, learn from your mistakes. A little bit too much. That should do fine. Clip off a little bit there. Have our pillow behind her. And I think I may just zoom this in a little bit more. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is put in these two layers into their own folder. Then I'm going to select the folder and drag the whole thing. There we go. Maybe a little bit more this way, just to help center her to the image. And a little bit that way. There we go. And there we are. Okay. Okay. Finishing up. We'll do our wall here. Boy. Definitely see where I have my own little issues. And yeah, we really can't see the door, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And besides, it's not our focus. We're more interested on our lovely lady here. Give her a little more of that belly button. Oh, yes. Let's zoom in so we can see it a little better. We'll redo it since it looks kind of funky. But, yeah, right about there. And there we go. Oop, on top. Yeah. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to go down to our layer with the opacity, and I'm going to start erasing. Now I won't erase entirely. I do want a little bit of it left over. But by doing this, instead of simply turning off the layer, gives it more of a natural look. You know, shows, yes, this is a sketch. Since I'll occasionally get people tell me, those lines look too clean. Or I used to. Now I get people telling me they look a little fuzzy. So I changed up my brushes a bit. And we'll go over that sometime soon. In fact, that's a great plan. For the next video, I will do a tutorial. So if you could, guys, just drop me a comment and let me know if there's anything you'd like me to cover. And that's what we'll base our video on. Go clean up these outside. This usually doesn't take too terribly long. And just roughly kind of clean up around the lines. We're not looking for perfect by any means. And if you like, you can actually leave in a little bit of it for a shading effect. Whatever makes you comfortable. I'm going to kind of bring this little line here down, though. Just a little bit. Just a smidgen. There we are. Oh, we almost forgot our other nipple bump. Just a little bit of bump. There we go. Just about there. And you'll see a little artifacting here and there. But if any of you ever worked on paper, you'll know it's very easy to miss little spots. That's why we're doing it this way, to kind of simulate that a bit. Gives it more character, makes it seem more alive. Okay. And you'll see we also don't have her tail again. We'll use that when we do the mane. And you might see little spots you've missed. Just hop on back and grab them when you can. And there we go. Let's save that file. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to show you something really nifty. I'm going to create another layer. And we're going to use the same color we have here, but this time I'm just going to grab a pen. And I'm just going to kind of put in the color in the areas where I want her mane to be. And we'll kind of swish them a bit. Just a little bit of swish here and there. And I'm going to do the same. Bring a little bit more over here. Ooh, not quite so far. Doesn't have to be perfect. Contour around the head. And as you can see, it's all over the place. I'll add a couple little spots flying off here. And again, we'll come down here. We'll kind of contour around her rump a bit. Place where we want our tail to be. Do a little bit of switch over there. Same thing over here. Ooh, maybe not quite so much. And don't worry, guys, it's her magical demon fire, so it won't burn unless she wants it to. Okay, so now that we have that, what I'm going to do is come down here to my blur tools. I do believe that's what they're called, the blend tool. And I'm going to select this one, fingertip. And again, this is one of those things that might not appear in all programs. I know it's not in Psi. There's a very similar one named something differently, the smudge tool in Photoshop. So at least with those two, you'll be able to find them easily. I'm going to use a nice hard brush, and I'm just going to smudge and pull a bit. Just kind of wiggle it about. Fire likes to go up, so we'll make sure that's the direction we do this in. And we just want to smudge it to where all of the edges are pulled just a little bit. I'm going to go in a little bit with the eraser since I don't need quite so much mane there. But yeah, that looks good. Gonna pull a little bit away from the ear, just a tiny bit. There we go. Just want to make sure we cover the top of her head. Bring up my size, make it a little easier on myself. And then bring it down again. And it won't take long before you see the flame effect really starting to come in there. I'm not going to do so much here. Yeah, I think that looks okay. And we do the same down on the tail. And just kind of wiggle that brush a bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to look convincing. Ah, yes, look at that. Okay, and what I want to do is add one more layer. And this time I'm going to clip it. And I'm going to use just a white. Not quite. Yeah. And we'll just kind of put in the middle of it. Again, not a whole lot, just a little bit. Run along the contour of the mane. Down here on the tail. It will only follow where I've told it to. Okay, and repeat the process. But this time, try to follow along with the existing flame that you have. Might need to use the eraser a little bit more on this one. Kind of pull and push it a bit. Gotta be careful there. Let's add a little bit more up here. Like right there. Yeah. And with a little bit of sighting, you'll get the hang of this really, really fast. There we go. And look at that. And what I'm going to do is bring down the opacity on that just a little, maybe turn it to an overlay. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, that's an interesting color. I think I actually kind of like it. Just slightly down. Maybe about 90%. Yeah. And there we go. And we have ourselves our nice, sexy little nightmare. And there we go, guys. That is how you take a sketch from a tiny little micro sketch up to visualize all the way up to your full image. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and we will see you next time.